Of that, it is time for our first hot topic, and you do need to get ready to do some reading if you have not yet cast your ballot. There are 13 state amendments on it. One of them is pitting animal groups against each other. So Amendment 13 would ban gambling on commercial dog racing in Florida. But a phrase in the preamble to the proposed amendment says, the humane treatment of animals is a fundamental value of people in the state of Florida. Well, a coalition of Florida groups, including the Florida Farm Bureau and the Florida Cattlemen's Association, oppose this ballot measure because they say it gives extreme animal rights groups the right to sue to ban any practice that is not deemed humane, like cattle slaughter, hunting, or even sport fishing. This amendment needs 60% of the vote to pass. Would you have even thought of that?
No. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have thought of that, but I see the logic.
I
could
do
see
too.
where sometime down the road this could be used against them.
Remember, wording is everything.
Yes.
Right,
So
right.
if it's worded, you know, Florida is against any inhumane treatment of animals, which of course I think most people would nod and say, of course we are. But if
Yes.
you want to weasel that,
Right,
so it
fishing.
includes fishing, well, hooks in fish's mouths
Right.
could be inhumane.
And that's a big industry here.
Right.
And so is cattle.
Right.
Like our two biggest industries would be hurt by that.
Interesting.
Right, so I could say they might need an amendment on top of this amendment if it does pass.
So how in the
to
world
further
would you
clarify.
vote?
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the point, is that it's not that they're saying they're for greyhound gambling. They're saying that they're against the wording of this amendment. So that, you know, and that's where you start
Yeah.
to get a headache about the whole thing, is that
Yeah.
even when we're trying to vote on an issue, this issue gets completely clouded
Right.
by somebody not wording it the way everybody thinks it should be.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could write on your ballot, you know, a little paragraph about what you
Right.
really think?
Well, here's what I really think. So the question is, now that we've talked about this, does that change the way you're going to think about Amendment 13?
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and well, part of my concern also is if we don't do anything with it now, it's so hard to get an amendment on the ballot
Yeah, it
again.
is.
So are we going to miss this opportunity to
Right.
do
But
something?
you know, I think greyhound racing is going down anyway. I think it was really popular and it's getting less and less popular. So
Right.
I think its time is over now.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's just you realize that how things are worded is really tricky,
Yeah.
and maybe even trickier as we go through the next
Every
week.
day, what we say is very tricky.
Good point.
The husbands and wives, they think we said one thing and we said another thing.
Very
This
good
is
point.
why I end up voting the day of, because it takes me all that time to
Right.
sort it out in my head.
Well, and things keep developing
Right,
too.
yeah.
So this just came up last week that these groups were upset. So
Wow.
there's lots to consider. So after several bad years at the box office, 2018 seems to be the year we're all going back to the movies. An economic upturn is estimated to make this year a record-breaking $12 billion year for U.S. box office, according to Hollywood Reporter. Now, theaters used to sell off-season tickets in the fall and spring, but this year there's been no off-season, and the reasons could include programs like AMC's A-List. Now, visits are at discount prices, plus there are more luxury viewing experiences. Do you feel like you've seen more movies this year?
I absolutely have. Last night, I saw Book Club with Jane Fonda.
Oh,
we
you
rented
did?
it at home. I was insulted. It made old ladies look silly and dumb.
Really?
Yes, I think we're much smarter. Even the judge, I didn't like the way they portrayed her.
But you have been to the theaters more this year.
I have.
Yes.
I have been many times more.
Will, do you feel like you're seeing more movies?
I am. One of the things, I used to like the convenience of being able to watch movies at home, but then I've started to realize it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to start
Yep.
doing a chore, start doing something else, get on my phone. I like to be able to step away, enjoy the new technology, and even like here at the Hollywood Cinema in downtown, that's a nice bar, right? Get a
Well,
nice
and
little
that's the
drink.
thing.
Yeah.
Movies have gotten upgraded. Like, I don't
Yeah.
dread going to the movies anymore. It used to
Right.
be full of, you know, obnoxious teenagers and sticky seats, and, you know, it wasn't a pleasant experience. But now that, you know, there's been so many upgrades.
I love
Exactly.
it. Nobody talks to you. You can totally focus on the movie and lose yourself in it.
Yes.
I don't like
exactly.
walking out afterward if I've been crying. Because that tends to happen.
That happened to me at A Star is Born, but it doesn't happen often.
Right. No, it doesn't happen often to me either. But sometimes the ones you go see, then you're like back to reality. A little bit rougher there. All right. Well, the cure to a midlife crisis used to be maybe buying a big sports car. But is the new midlife crisis driven by fitness? The U.S. Triathlon Organization reports that nearly a third of participants in triathlons are between the ages of 40 and 49. That's the largest age demographic by decade, and one of the most competitive. Now, a writer says his personal journey of getting back into running was his way with coping with aging, and he said many call this a midlife correction. I have to admit I haven't had my midlife correction yet because I'm not craving running. But Will, I know you've made fitness a big part of, you know, your part of midlife. Not that you're having any crisis, but I don't know. Do you see that as more something our generation's going to do?
I think so. Something, I don't know what happened right before I turned 40. I wasn't seeking it, but I went to a gym. I went to a CrossFit gym, and immediately something clicked in me. And I wish I had the same drive and discipline when I was 19, 20 than I do now. But I mean, that's part of it. I wanted to make myself healthy, not only for my family, but for myself. I wanted to be happy with the person I was looking at in the mirror. And that's been a big drive, but now it's become part of my routine and I love it.
Right.
Yeah. I think you just realize that you've got to keep yourself healthy. I started my program back at the gym Saturday. So now I've got to go, but you just realize it's not just about how you look, it's how you feel and how you react to everything in life. So I think you just get a little smarter as you get older.
I agree, and I do think it's like if we did have the discipline that we have at our age that we had when we were younger, we probably wouldn't have been in this situation to begin with.
Exactly.
You know?
Right now.
Exactly.
Like I remember, like when I was 19, I would go to the gym one time, and that'd be enough for the month. And now it's like I have to keep going just to stay healthy.
And you could eat whatever you wanted.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, at that age, I got all dressed up. You know, I had matching outfits and everything.
To be young. All right. Well, what if we told you the best way to get on your next trip is to take a longer flight? The introduction of new, larger airplanes has made long hauls more efficient and profitable for the airlines. So when you eliminate layovers and changing planes, it's often better to travelers because you get to your destination faster. Singapore Airlines recently conducted a first test flights of a 20-hour New York to Singapore route. That gives the unofficial title of world's longest flight. The good news is there are oversized seats, several decent meals, and movies for the entire flight. You two have both taken a lot of long trips. Are you willing to try a 20-hour flight without a layover to break it up?
Yes. Australia, earlier this year, we had one that was almost that long, and you've got movies to watch, and you know you're going to get to your destination on time once you get on that plane. We had other people in our tour that their flights were broken up. They didn't get there for a couple of days because of problems. So I absolutely would.
And you feel like you could move around enough and cope enough?
And I've done both type of planes, and I do, as you know, I do a lot of international traveling. This Wednesday, in fact, I'm going to Germany, and I've seen both planes. One where you're cramped, you have nothing to watch, and all you can do is, drink a glass of wine and fall asleep and hope that you're there when you wake up, right? But there are other planes where, there's plenty of movies, plenty of entertainment. There's space to walk around. In fact, some of them have space in the back where people can actually stand and chat and socialize. And I think one of the Virgin planes, they have a bar in the middle where you could go to.
I haven't been to one of those.
I am all for the longer flights as long as the airlines continue to take care of their customers and give them
It seems
options.
like it would be very airplane dependent.
Yes,
I
exactly.
mean, there's no way I could sit on the one spot for 20 hours without anything to move with.
No, and we do move around and talk a lot. We're going to Egypt and Dubai shortly, so I'll find out how long a flight I can stay in.
Exactly. Yes, you will. All right. Well, this is a cute story as we head into Halloween week. So a sixth grader is giving up Halloween this year to raise money for the survivors of Hurricane Michael. Max Yanez says rather than going trick-or-treating, he's going to set up his lemonade and cupcake stand and use his own money to get supplies so he can get everything to the Florida Panhandle. He's already got the family's Honda loaded up once for relief supplies, but now he's aiming a little higher with an entire U-Haul he hopes to collect by the end of Halloween night. That would be nice to see as you're out trick-or-treating, somebody looking to do good rather than just get candy.
Yeah, I like the way that kid's thinking.
Exactly. He's off to a great start.